आशा ना करियो मने आशा श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति श्री गुरु रति उत्तम जय प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा जय प्रसादे चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिलो जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित दिव्य प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते वेद गाय जहाँ चरित वेद श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना के देवाना प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे प्रभु पाद करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया प्रभु पाद करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया हे विजाजु शुक्र भुवना हे विजाजु लीला प्रभुपाद पतित पावना प्रभुपाद पतित दुआ पदे लोहिलो चरणा दुआ पदे लोहिलो चरण जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamine Vishnu Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dechadarine Namaste Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dechadarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Krishna Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktarinda Bhaja Gaurango Koho Gaurango Laha Gaurangela Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Jaya Radha Syamasundar, Radha Syamasundar Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Gaurari Jaya Gaurari Gaurari Jaya Gaurari. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jai Prabhupada. Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada.
Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Syamasundar Radha Giri Govardhan ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki, Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki, Ganga Mai ki, Jamuna Mai ki, Tulsi Devi ki, Bhakti Devi ki, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki, Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. Glories to Shri Guruji Gauranga.
So we don't have a Madanga playing.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavi Adi Radha Madhava Kunjavi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavi Adi Gopi Jana Badava Girivara Yadi Gopi Jana Badava Gopi Jana Badava Girivara Yadi Gopi Jana Badava Yasodhanandana Brajajanaranjana Yasodhanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachadi Yamunatira Vanachadi Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Adi Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Adi Madhava Punjabi Adi Gopi Jana Bhala Bhagirivara Yadi Gopi Jana Bhala Bhagirivara Gopi Jana Bhala Bhagirivara Yadi Yasodhanandana Brajajanaranjana Yasodhanandana Brajajanaranjana Jamuna Tiravana Chadi Jamuna Tiravana Chadi Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Adi Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Adi Madhava Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajagacharya Astatarasatasi Srimad. His Divine Grace is the Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Vortimalandi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This morning, Canto 3, Chapter 18, a battle scene. Battle between Lord Boar and Hiranyaksha. Satu Jamanori Daruk Tato Marayar Dangstranga Gam Gam Upalaksha Bhitam Todam Risham Niragad Ambumadhyad Grahahata Sakarenur Yatebhyaham Satu Jamanori Durukta Tomarayar Dangsagra Gam Gam Upalaksha Bhitam Todam Risham Niragad Ambu Madhyad Grahahata Sakarenor Yate Baha
Satudyamanori durukta tomare Stagra gam gam lakshya pita Odam rushan niragadam madat madhya Rahata sakharanir yate baha
Satudhyamano aridurukta tomare
Satudyamanori durukta tomare
tam alakshavitam Shaniratat Madhya
Satudyamanori durukta tomare
Saha he tujmanaha, being pained, adi, of the enemy, durukta, by the abusive words, tomarai, by the weapons, dangstra agra, on the ends of his tusks, gam, situated, gam, the earth, upalaksha, seeing, Ditam, frightened, Totem, the pain, Rishan, bearing, Nirgat, he came out, Ambo Madhyat, from the midst of the water, Graha, by a crocodile, Ahataha, attacked, Sakarenuhu, along with a she-elephant, Ita, as, Ibbaha, an elephant. Very interesting verse. Although the Lord was pained by the shaft-like, abusive words of the demon, he bore the pain. But seeing that the earth on the ends of his tusks was frightened, he rose out of the water just as an elephant emerges with its female companion when assailed by an alligator. The whole purport is focused on the Lord feeling pain. The Mayavadi philosopher cannot understand that the Lord has feelings. The Lord is satisfied if someone offers him a nice prayer. And similarly, if someone decries his existence or calls him by ill names, God is dissatisfied. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is decried by the Mayavadi philosophers, who are almost demons. They say that God has no head, no form, no existence, and no legs, hands, and other bodily limbs. In other words, they say he is dead or lame. All these misconceptions of the Supreme Lord are a source of dissatisfaction to him, semicolon. He is never pleased with such atheistic descriptions. In this case, although the Lord felt sorrow from the piercing words of the demon, he delivered the earth for the satisfaction of the demigods who are ever his devotees. The conclusion is that God is as sentient as we are. He is satisfied by our prayers and dissatisfied by our harsh words against him. In order to give protection to his devotees, to his devotee, he is always ready to tolerate insulting words from the atheists. Tujmanaha, pained. Todam Rishan, bearing the pain. Wait a minute. If devotees are supposed to be neutral, why God isn't neutral? You know, someone says something insulting, you don't take it seriously, you tolerate it. See equally pebble stones and gold and neutral and samoham sarvabhuteshu. And then the Lord is feeling these feelings. Tolerating the feelings, but he's feeling these feelings. What's going on? So there are different ways of looking at anything. He's transcendental. He's not touched by anything material. And vilification by Hiranyaksha is definitely material. Or, many other examples, Shishupal, vilifying. Now the devotees wanted to do something, and Krishna stopped them. No. And the end result with Shishupal is he got liberation. He lost the speaking part of his body, but he got liberation. The soul got liberation. So the same Supreme Lord in a different feature than the original personality of Godhead, but he's feeling pain. So was Krishna feeling pain when Shishupal said all the nasty stuff? He's a person. That's the message is. So he was feeling, the Lord feels pleasure and pain. Not like we think of pleasure and pain. Not like if somebody says some insulting thing to us, we may feel some pain. Not the same. Ours is a reflection of his, and he's feeling something. And he reciprocates. Even from the materialist, or even from Hiranyaksha, or from the person who's offering prayers, or little people like us, and we stand in front of the deity and offer some prayers, or wherever we may be in a situation of gratitude or a situation of distress, and we offer some prayers. Of course, you may not also, but if you do, that even the thought itself can be a type of prayer, and it's acknowledged. Nothing goes in vain. It's acknowledged. It's just like the celebrated phrase that Prabhupada repeated so many times, the appreciation that Shukadeva Goswami expresses about the cowherd boys, Krita Punya Punja. How many lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes have not just, opening hospitals and opening schools and helping little old ladies cross the street and doing that kind of punya, but transcendental punya, lifetimes and lifetimes. So it's, in other words, having the opportunity to directly serve the Supreme Lord is the fruit of pleasing the Supreme Lord again and 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 again, and consistently nothing but. So a sadhaka can become sadhya. A person can become perfect through the processes that we recommended. One of them is bandhanam, so offering prayers. And it's nice. Nice for the devotee. It's nice for Krishna. Krishna accepts the prayers and he feels happy. So that's not a surprise. Except he's so on the one hand, so this is the topic for this morning, he's fully satisfied, he doesn't need anything. And take anything that we might do. Is Krishna hungry? Krishna's not hungry. Offer him something. He can eat it, but he's not hungry. So when we eat something and we're not hungry, it's a problem. He's accepting the devotion. And he eats it. He doesn't eat in the same way that we eat, and he doesn't feel happiness the same way we feel happiness when we get some nice cooked food or uncooked food. The happiness we feel is not on the same platform, but he feels happiness, and therefore he invites us to do those activities which bring him happiness, and that's our happiness, at least on the higher platform. Is it possible for us to aspire for a higher platform of Krishna Bhakti and at the same time remain self-centered? This seems contradictory. However, our conditioning is, I know a person or two or three, that they're aspiring for a higher position in the evolvement or evolution of their Krishna Bhakti, and really self-centered. You know, and the words and the prayers and the thises and the that's they sound like following in the footsteps of elevated souls. But they're, at the same time, their consciousness sometimes is, very self-centered. It's about their experience, and it's not about Krishna's happiness. So there's pitfalls even in the royal road. It's a different kind of contradiction than the apparent contradiction of this verse, but it's similar, different, but it's similar. Our satisfaction on the spiritual platform is entirely Krishna's satisfaction, and the medium of that is service, not the medium is, doing something to get something, fruitive. And sometimes people who are in that position, they can't see it. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent because I'm trying to help a person understand it. But, they can't see it, and so the communication is blocked. And there's other feelings that they're not being appreciated or something or something or something. So let's go back to this situation. This is the personality of Godhead. And, at least on one level, there's many, but on one level, he's feeling some feelings. He's tolerating the feelings on the strength of serving the demigods. The demigods are fearful. The earth is fearful. So his focus goes to rescuing the earth, because the earth is fearful, trembling, and the demigods are fearful for the earth. And so his focus goes, he doesn't need anything. He doesn't need to do something to overcome some negative emotion. He doesn't get stuck in the negative emotion, doesn't need to do something to get unstuck from the negative emotion. But I take it at least that there's embedded in the passage is a lesson for us how to overcome negative emotions. Because if the Supreme Lord can have some feelings of hurt, but he's enduring it, the feelings of hurt, he's taking shelter of another aspect of himself, which is reciprocating with the earth and reciprocating with the demigods and fulfilling their purpose, because his appearance in the world was to fulfill their appeal. So he appeared. And then, of course, he's Vinachaya Chaduskatam. He's going to deal with Hiranyaksha. So while he's doing those functions that Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita he does when he appears, there is something, we're getting an internal snapshot of what his feelings are. And it's nice. He's sentient. I mean, the way that Prabhupada writes this is, he's as sentient as we are, or the other way around. We are as sentient as he is. So he has these feelings, which is, anyway, it's an eye-opener for me. Because most of the time when we hear someone saying something insulting, because it's not new, demons, Shishupal is, the front runner, says insulting things. Jarasandha said insulting things. The demons say insulting things. Now back to the purport, the focus Prabhupada goes to is Mayavadis, who they don't, their insult is covered. But it's explicit at the same time. He has no hands, he has no qualities, he has no personality, it's insulting. Supposing, a common way to say this to a new person, supposing I say, oh, your mother, she has no personality. She has no face, she has no qualities, she has no arms, she has no legs, she's a blob, she's, pardon me, you're talking about my mother? Or my father? And he's a dull stone. It's insulting, explicitly. So in one part, they're almost demoniac, and then they're demoniac. There's the same behavior, just covered. And this material world is such a place, where it's a place for people who are criminals. They're opposed to the supremacy of Krishna. They're rebellious to the supremacy of Krishna. They want, what they want. And there's an obstacle for what they want, and that's Krishna. So they have attitude towards Krishna. So there's a place for such people. Now, how does Krishna feel about people who are in the prison house? He doesn't feel good about it. Now, compassion, so Krishna does things like had this, it was in Palatine, but lengthy discussion, just like Jagadananda's question yesterday about the Mahavadanyaya of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He came to deliver people, but not just from their suffering, but to the stage of prema bhakti. Freely gave prema bhakti, even for bad people. This one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Vilifying him, he gave them prema bhakti. That's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Krishna has his course correction system. Bhagavad Gita, and the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita is surrender to me. So I don't want to surrender to you. And that's the position. So that in itself has its characteristic. Abhajananti mam mudha manushim tanamashritram. Mudha. Krishna is compassionate because he appears to deliver the persons in this prison house or the material atmosphere by giving knowledge. But to get that knowledge, there's a prerequisite. It's association with a sadhu, but then letting go of those tendencies and taking shelter of some higher tendency. So this is a narration in the Bhagavatam to help us understand Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, in its various features. And Bhagavan has feelings. And for Hiranyaksha, who insults him, he rescues the earth. They have a battle, and he slaps him with his hoof, and he's gone. At least for that lifetime. He frees him from sinful reactions and all of the other things that go along with being Hiranyaksha or being a demon. So we should be very cautious in the sources that we hear from, because the tendency is people that are considering themselves spiritual. It's very special to have disciplic succession to take shelter of, and there's so many other conceptions that are not in disciplic succession, and therefore at least tinged, if not centered on, impersonalism. I'm pausing because I'm thinking about the parenting topic. And of course, Hare Krishna devotee parents want their children to become nice Hare Krishna devotees. But their becoming a nice Hare Krishna devotee has to be something that they choose, not something that mom and dad wanted, so I cosmetically accept without really giving my heart to it. Some youth give their heart to it, and some are looking around. And when they look around, they see options. And so parenting is not an easy task in this age of Kali at any time, but in this age of Kali, it's like, whew. At the same time, people that are not born in devotee families, and then they're looking around too. And so there may be some initial, wow, this is nice. And then stick around for a while and something unpleasant happens, or the mind dictates something, and then they're challenged. So and what I'm saying here is the path to becoming fixed in Krishna consciousness has its challenges, and Krishna has his feelings for such people. So therefore, particularly for the sage of Kali, the great importance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just like on our altar, the Gaura Hari next to Radha Syamasundar. The people that come to our temple, our temples, ISKCON temples in general, they may not know. That's okay. They can be trained and educated to understand the importance of chanting and the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to overcome the consequence of being in the prison house, and bad association and confusion and everything. So the Bhagavatam, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Bhagavatam gives a place of shelter. If one reads it regularly and carefully, then different lights can go on and darkness can be dispelled, and the position of, back to the main theme, the Supreme Personality Godhead Bhagavan is sentient, and our mission in bhakti life is to please Him and to avoid those things that are not, accept things pleasing, avoid things that are not pleasing, in the bhakti principle. Not just do's and don'ts, but on the bhakti principle. Let's see if there's some discussion.
A comment and a question, Guru Maharaj. In order to understand how Krishna is a sentient being who feels pain.
You're speaking clearly. Somehow I'm not hearing.
So, a comment and a question.
A comment and a question. That part I heard.
In order to understand Krishna as a sentient being who feels pain.
In order to understand Krishna, what?
Sentient being, as a being who can understand people's feelings.
Oh gosh, I'm useless. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, try again. In order to understand Krishna,
is a sentient being.
He is a sentient being, okay.
Who feels pain.
He feels pain.
And yet that pain doesn't, turn into animosity.
Nah.
Because in the case of mortal sentient beings, when there's pain, there's a tendency
Get back.
to develop feelings of animosity or resentment. But the depth of Krishna's love for his living entities, doesn't
result in that.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's somehow, as a parent, perhaps there's some understanding of that, because my child can say to me, "You're the worst mom ever," and it's not that there isn't pain, yet the depth of the love doesn't take away the tenderness and the compassion to continue to extend to that living entity. And the question that arises, Guru Maharaj, is we hear of devotees like Haridas Thakur, Ambarish Maharaj, who are inflicted great pain by words.
Or such a what?
Devotees like Haridas Thakur or Ambarish Maharaj are inflicted great pain, whether it's verbal or it's physical.
Okay, they're the whipping stick for someone.
Or harsh words are used towards these great devotees.
Okay.
And so far, my understanding is that they don't even feel pain.
Do they or don't they? So that's your question. You're making a statement, but you're actually asking a question. What is it?
How to understand it? They don't feel any animosity.
They don't have animosity, that's for sure. Nice question. I mean, the statement in this verse is hard to understand. And so you take that to the elevated devotees, and then Similar question. They're sentient, as the Lord is sentient. So are they feeling something or nothing? Now, when one feels compassion and somebody is broken or pained or something, saying something, doing something that's very hurtful, the compassionate person, do they feel it? The insult or the beating or the whatever it is? Are they just tolerating it because that's what advanced souls do? They just, they feel, but they tolerate, because that's what Lord Varaha is doing. He's feeling and he's rising above it. With no, as you put it, no inimical feeling. It's a nice question. For sure, we can say such advanced persons never deviate from the position of full shelter. So while they're in that position of full shelter, are they feeling pain? Physical or emotional pain? Are they feeling pain? I'm pausing because it seems that one can make an argument or a statement in either direction, yes or no. No, they don't feel any pain. Yes, they feel pain and they're rising above it because their compassion for the person who's hurling the insult or the discomfort or the challenge or the sending danger their way, because they're feeling fully protected, and they are fully protected. And so they're feeling, on the platform of feeling, they're feeling fully protected. So when you're feeling fully, in Haridas Thakur's case, as being beaten in 21 marketplaces, he wasn't feeling anything. Lord Chaitanya shared later because he took the beatings. So it's a nice question. And again, one can make an argument for either side. They're transcendental, no pain. They feel, and they're rising above that feeling because of their full shelter. So they're sentient, but poor Hiranyakashipu, this fellow, my father, is in bad shape. He needs help. So feeling compassion instead of feeling hurt. And one can make that argument. Something else?
Okay. Maharaj, regarding those feelings, I was thinking of Bhagavad Gita 262, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa.
Bhagavad Gita what?
62nd verse, the dhyayato vishayan pumsa, contemplating on senses, attachment, lust, and anger.
Yes.
So just adding to that discussion, I was thinking, in our case, externally we may see a particular expression of a feeling, anger or whatnot, but underneath that is this attachment to senses.
Yeah.
And perhaps these great souls, this is a question.
You're responding to her question.
Yes, and also I wanted to get it clarified by you. Perhaps what the feeling that is seen on the outside, it is rooted on something else. Could we understand?
Yeah. Well, you have false ego. The foundation of material existence.
So for us it is the false ego, for them the expression...
Okay, so let's keep going. They don't have false ego. So that's your question. Those who don't have false ego and someone does something hurtful, verbal or otherwise, are they feeling it? Because they don't have false ego, that's an argument that says they don't feel it. Then I'll ask you, if the Lord is sentient and has those feelings, then how can devotees not have feelings and be insentient? He doesn't have false ego. He's not resting upon, but he has these feelings because he's a sentient being. Could you answer? You follow what my question is?
I agree. And I was saying that it is rooted on something other than this, like which is perhaps feeling pain for Hiranyaksha being in that situation where he is separate.
Okay, so there's an argument that says because, using the two examples given, Ambarish Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj, they have zippo, false ego, zip. They're not feeling anything. And in fact, they were protected, but even being protected, they weren't feeling anything. Then comes my question. Wait a minute, the Lord is sentient, he was feeling hurt or pain. Pained by the words, but it wasn't taking it, not pain like we know it, but how can there be a feeling of pain, transcendental pain? One can say it's his compassion, and the poor fellow, he's lost it. He's so dark in the mode of ignorance. Look at this. How unfortunate for this fellow. So pain in that sense, maybe? It's an interesting topic. You want to contribute further?
Yeah, I was thinking that Prahlad Maharaj did have feelings because he did offer in his prayers to Narasimhadev to, the compassion. Perhaps the feeling wasn't expressed at that moment, but it was expressed at a later moment when he asked for Hiranyakashipu's deliverance. So I was just thinking that...
Yeah, he's not holding a grudge. I mean, which is part of what she was saying in the preamble or the premise of her question. For sure, even if they're having feelings, they're not holding some ill feelings towards the aggressor or toward the instrument of hurt. They have feelings, but they're not feeling grudge. He wants the deliverance of his father. Still, the question is: are there feelings? Let's move on. Anyone else? Premananda, what are your thoughts on this topic?
Not on this, but I was wondering the feelings, negative emotions, and dejection. We all know that they are because of self-centeredness. It
This
is
is the same thing she said, that there's a foundation upon which those feelings are resting.
so we know this is not good for us but still, we can see that there are some people who cannot overcome that kind of negative feelings. Even if they know they cannot overcome that. And
I know some people like that.
yeah. So, yeah, and then we have our worldly techniques of taking care of those kind of negative feelings and all those things. I don't know what my question is, seriously.
You're just commenting. Yes, that's exactly a question. You're reflecting as we're doing.
Yeah. So, knowing fully well this is not the right thing to do, knowing fully well this is all self-centeredness and it is not in Krishna's interest, life goes on this way. And so we are living in that type of an environment where, we are living in that environment where people sometimes even knowing still continue that way. And of course, there is people guiding and teaching and all that is there, but still these problems continue to exist. And so I was wondering, we are all practicing devotees. We needed to help each other to move forward.
Yeah. I think what I'd like to do right now is end class, and we can, because tomorrow morning isn't the next verse. If any of you have some meditated realizations or scriptural, teachings that answer this interesting question that Sri Radhika asked, I don't need to express it again. We can discuss it further tomorrow. Are they experiencing, this is perfected souls. Here's a list of perfected souls. Something hurtful is done or said, or a combination. Are they feeling pain? Emotional pain, mental pain, physical pain, or transcendental? Not feeling it at all, because they have no foundational self-interest, egocentrism, false ego. It's absent. It's completely absent. I mean, in the one that sounds a little impersonal, and it goes along with the Lord is sentient, so we're also sentient. So feel nothing. So let's contemplate, see what we can come up with for tomorrow morning. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki